Okay, this is a reaction video. 13 things you need to know before going to Germany. As you can tell by my background, I am not where I normally record from. I am actually uh, 2 hours from my place. I'm up in Cleveland. It's Thanksgiving today. Today is the 24th of November, uh, the year of our Lord 2022. And I'm visiting my sister, and our whole family is getting together for Thanksgiving. That's an American holiday, if you aren't aware of it. One day maybe I'll get into it, or if you don't know, you can always Google it. But yeah, I'm up here in Avon. In fact, to give you an idea, I'm not too far. If you watch uh, the historian blog, there's a vlog of vlogging through history. I'm not too far from where he is, but nevertheless, I am here in Cleveland, or outside of Cleveland. And this is from Feli from Germany. Things you know need to know before going to Germany. Now, this might have helped me before I went to Germany, but let's see if I agree with these things. Okay, 13 things you need to know before going to Germany. This is Feli from Germany. Please click like, share, and subscribe for her, and like, share, and subscribe for me. Let's see what this has to offer.
You want to go to Germany? Here are some things you need to know before you go from a German native. Hallo, Servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living in Cincinnati, Ohio, off and
And she's not too far from where I live. Actually, she's about 90 minutes to the south.
on since 2016. Now, traveling isn't really a thing right now, but I know that many of you can't wait until that's going to be possible again.
Okay, this is obviously during the coronavirus.
And I know that many of you are planning your future trips in your heads. And for all of you who've always wanted to visit Germany, or even move to Germany, I'm sharing some things that you should definitely
Love to go back, don't know if I ever want to move there.
know before you go. These are things that I usually tell friends who go to Germany for the first time, but I'm sure that many of you guys could benefit from this as well. The first one sounds pretty obvious, but believe me, people forget about this all the time. Different countries have different outlets and voltages. So if you're from the US, you'll need to bring or buy an adapter if you want to use your electrical devices, because your American plugs won't fit into a German outlet. We also have a voltage of 220, 230 volt in Germany.
I was actually going to be going to Paris before the coronavirus hit back in 2020, and I have one of those adapters. And one of the things I saw when I used to work at a place in the United States, a convenience store, we sold international adapters, because that is true. You can't you can't use the regular plugs that we use in the United States as you do over in Europe. So you have to get an adapter.
Germany, whereas it's only 120 in the US, and not all electronic devices can handle the switch, so be sure that you do some research about that before you go. Especially hair dryers and hair straighteners usually don't work with a different voltage. I actually broke a hair straightener once because I tried using my German one in the US and that just made it stop working. What does work usually though is laptops and phone chargers and those kind of things. And even though I am obviously aware that the outlets are different, I totally forgot about it this past Christmas when I went home to be with my family, because I got a new laptop recently in the US that came with an American charger, and I totally forgot that for the first time ever I would need an adapter that goes from American plug to German plug and not the other way around. But luckily my dad has a bunch of travel adapters and one of them actually fit. Then of course we also use a different currency in Germany. It's the euro, just like
Again, that's something that you would need to know. The adapter is one thing, but the currency is another. Adapter you may not be aware of, and that's good advice. But I think most people know that you need to use that they use euros. And I exchanged my money when before I traveled over there, so I had the euro. The one thing about the euro, which is interesting, is that they don't have like $1 denominations in paper. They only have the smallest, I think, is a $5. The one that she has right now, you can see it, is a coin. So we had a ton of coins, so we used a lot of those to use as much as we could to get back to the airport before we left Germany. Try to get rid of a lot of those.
Like in many other countries in the European Union, and at least compared to the US, we also use a different measurement system, the metric system with kilometers instead of miles, etc., even though the US really is the odd one out here.
Oh, that's a matter of opinion.
The next point causes a pretty big shock.
Yeah, this is something I do know, and is that stores are, I believe, are closed on Sunday in Germany. They're not 24-hour convenience stores. There are no 24-hour convenience stores like they do in the United States. I believe that's what she's about to tell me.
For many people who visit Germany for the first time, stores are closed on Sundays, even grocery stores. So make sure to plan ahead, because the only places you'll be able to find any groceries on a Sunday are stores at train stations and gas stations. This has a...
Now, fortunately, when we stayed in Frankfurt, the train station was right across the way, and we got in on a Sunday, and probably was too tired to do anything except watch football and maybe stop at a fast food place to get something to eat or someplace at the train station. So we were okay as far as that was concerned.
Christian background, but it also has to do with workers' rights. In Germany, we believe that everyone should be able to get a rest day on Sunday and spend time with their family. Restaurants, movie theaters, and those kind of things are usually open though. Even if you're only in Germany for a day, you should make sure to carry cash on you. Germany has a pretty big cash culture, and there might be quite a few occasions where you won't be able to pay electronically, like when you want to...
Yeah, that is one thing that I have heard, because in the United States, it's a card culture, not a cash culture. Everybody uses their card nowadays. You very rarely see people walking around cash. Maybe older people do because they're used to doing it, but a lot of people don't carry cash in the United States.
Get something at a bakery, a kiosk, small stores that don't accept card payments, or things like parking machines. You can either get some cash from the ATM in Germany, but be aware that there will probably be an ATM fee and a currency conversion fee if your bank account isn't in euros.
Yeah, that is a good point. If you use a card, like to withdraw cash, there's not only are you paying the ATM fee, which is probably pretty high, you're also paying the cash conversion fee, which will show up on your statement and then on your online banking. So that's a big thing as well. Now, in the United States, you can use your card at parking meters, but you can't do it in Germany.
Or you can also ask your bank at home to get some euros to you before you leave. That might be the best option, actually, because that way you'll also have...
And what she has right there, also let your bank know you're going to travel. That is another big thing. If you're traveling abroad, there's something called OFAC, the Office of Foreign Asset Control. There's some countries even if you let the bank know, they can't do anything about it. There are a lot of countries that it's best to check the OFAC list. Now, I don't believe Germany's on that, so if you're going to Germany, contact your bank, let them know that you're going, or you can probably do it online too. Let them know the days you're going to be in Europe or abroad. So if you use your card, not only can you use it, they won't block it.
Have some cash right when you arrive in case you need it. What you shouldn't do though is exchange money at the airport, because it'll be a lot more expensive.
Depends on the airport, because I've used you can do it at some airports. It's not too terribly bad. It certainly wasn't bad when I did. Now, I did not do a lot of driving in Germany. I didn't do any driving in Germany.
Now let's talk about what you need to know about driving in Germany, because there are a few differences that you should be aware of before you get behind the wheel. The first thing is that gas is a lot more expensive in Germany than it is in the US. It's about...
Yeah, gas is more expensive in Europe than it is in general in Europe than it is in the United States. Although right now gas is more expensive. Is more expensive than we like in the United States right now, but it's always going to be more expensive over in Europe.
3 times as expensive. So if you were going to rent a car and just drive around Germany or Europe, that's not going to be as cheap.
You're better off. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. If you want to go to the small towns, things like that, you'll need a car. But if you're planning on going to the big places like we were, Frankfurt, Cologne, Berlin, take the train.
As you probably expected. In fact, it might be a lot cheaper to get around by bus or train. We have a pretty good train system all over Germany.
You have a very good train system all around Germany.
And over Europe too. And especially if you're just staying within one city in Germany, public transportation might be a more convenient and less stressful option for you too, because traffic can be a little crazy, the drivers can be aggressive, and parking in a German city is usually a nightmare. When you need to get gas, you should know that you pump first in Germany and then pay afterwards. And you don't usually pay at the pump, but you'll have to go inside afterwards to do so. The regular gas in Germany is called super, but of course you can always look at what it says inside of the gas cap as to what kind you should put in the tank. Then of course there are different driving laws in Germany, so be sure to check those out before you get on the streets. Two major things are that you can't turn right on red, and you always need to watch out for cyclists and pedestrians, especially when turning right. I found
Yeah, that's something I think maybe a bit obvious, but maybe not as obvious as you think. Because in the United States, you can turn on a red. If it's red light and you're just making a right hand turn and you look both ways and every or at least to the left and see nobody's coming, you can make that turn unless it specifically says no turn on red. But I wasn't aware in Germany that you can't turn on red under any circumstances.
That that's not really something that people learn in driver's ed in the States, because in many American towns, people walking or riding their bike isn't really a thing. For everything else, like the street signs, speed limits, and driving on the highway, the Autobahn, you can check out my video on driving if you want to learn more.
And here's a big thing: drinking in public. You could see a lot of people drinking in public when I was in Germany. I did not see. You can't do that in the United States. You can't just open up a beer and start drinking out in public. That'll get you cited in the United States.
This one might be kind of shocking to Americans. In Germany, it's legal to drink alcohol in public, and Germans do that a lot too, especially in the summer. So don't be surprised by that, and who knows, maybe you're gonna try it too and get a cool experience out of it if you can just sit by the river on a warm summer night with a 50-cent beer from the corner store. And yes, beer is pretty cheap in Germany, but it's still very, very good.
Now, this is something I'm well aware of as far as restaurants are concerned. One of the big things that in the United States, you can get your free refills. Now, people have talked to me about that, and that it's not cheap or anything like that, and I get that. But it is a nice thing. One of the things they do in the United States, which I don't know if she's going to talk about here, is they fill your glass with a lot of ice. And since you're getting free refills, it's not that big of a deal. Most people in Europe that I saw didn't use a whole lot of ice, but you get free refills, and they maybe charge you more, like for a drink. I don't know how much you would pay for a soda or a pop, whatever you call it, in Germany, uh, and what they bring to you. But uh, in the United States, like I said, there's a place that's like $2.19 or something like that, or $2.25 for a drink, but it's free refills, and it is a nice perk.
Now, if you visit Germany as a tourist, you're probably gonna spend a lot of time at restaurants. So here's a few things that you should know about that. So when you walk into a restaurant, you can usually just seat yourself and don't have to wait for someone to show you to a table.
And usually you can do the same in the United States in a lot of places, but most places, but in some places you just go and seat yourself. It just depends on what it says, because most places say, please wait to be seated. It'll tell you what to do. Please wait to be seated. And then you just wait, and then somebody will escort you to your seat. There are some places you go in where it says, just please seat yourself, or somebody will tell you, just go ahead and seat. Pick a spot wherever you want.
Table. Then you won't get ice in your drinks unless you ask for it, but even then, it'll probably just be a couple of ice cubes. The sizes of drinks are also pretty small in comparison to the States, just like almost everything in Germany.
And like she said, no refills, and I was aware of that.
And water is not free at German restaurants, so if you order water, you'll usually get bottled water, either still or sparkling, which Germans are huge fans of.
That's one thing I got used to when I was there. If I asked for water, there was always going to be sparkling. I'm not a fan of sparkling water, but yeah, they love their sparkling water.
Once you're done, you have to ask the waiter for the check. They won't bring it to you automatically, and you're probably going to have to flag them down because they're not going to check on you all the time. And then they'll usually have you pay right at the table, either with cash, or you can also pay with your card in most restaurants, but you'll have to let them know because they'll have to get the little device first. Now, when it comes to tipping, we tip around 10% in Germany, and the way it works is that you just tell the waiter directly what you want to round it up to. So if your check is 20 euros and you want to tip them 2 euros, you just tell them to make it 22 and you'll get the change for that. It works the same way with card payments too, so make sure to tell them the tip before you insert your card. Also, just a heads up, the waiters in Germany might seem kind of cold compared to the ones in the US. You'll have to flag them down if you need.
Yeah, and that's because in the United States, they're working for the tip. They're working, this is what I've heard in Europe, is in general, not just Germany, is that, you sit wherever you want. Yeah, they'll bring you your food and everything like that, but they won't come and check on Yeah, they won't say, "Hey, how's everything doing? How's the food?" or anything like that, like they do in the United States. United States, you sit down there, you have your drink, and you're sitting there talking, or you go to a Mexican restaurant to get free chips and salsa, whatever. You're sitting there, and also your drink's half full, and somebody goes, comes over. Maybe the next person over to you has already drank their fill. What were you having? And they'll cap you up the whole 9 yards. And when you're ready for the check, you aren't going to have to call somebody over to bring you the check. They'll come over and check on you constantly, probably once every 5 to 10 minutes, just to make sure everything's all right. When you're ready for the check, they'll ask for it. Ask you when if you're ready for it.
Need something, and they're probably not going to be as friendly, which has to do with the fact that they don't have to rely on tips as much, but also with the German customer service in general.
Now, the people in Germany were very, very nice. I did not have a problem with the customer service when I was in Germany. So I don't know if this is something that people go through a lot of when they're in Germany, that the customer service isn't very good.
Please don't let it scare you off, but the customer service in Germany is pretty bad compared to the US, at least in my opinion. I know that many Germans are going to disagree with me in the comments, but if you're used to American standards, it's very likely that some of the people working in German customer service will make you feel like you're bothering them or annoying them. If that happens, please don't think that it has anything to do with you being a tourist or not speaking German. It's nothing personal. They treat me like that too. Of course, there's also many great people working in customer service who are lovely to talk to, but unfortunately, that's not the standard in Germany.
Again, I had no problems with the customer service in Germany. I thought the people were very, very friendly, and I really, really enjoyed that. Now, this says number 8 is paying to pee, and this is something I am aware of. When we got to Mannheim, you had to pay €1 to go into the stall to use the bathroom.
One of the most popular topics of complaints among tourists is that you have to pay to use the bathroom in Germany. Now, it's possible that that's going to be the case. Like at rest stops on the highway, you'll find these bathrooms with turnstiles, and at some public bathrooms, there will be a person sitting with a tipping plate, but that's not always the case, and at restaurants, it's usually free. But yes.
Yes, I did see the guy who was sitting there, the tip jar, and there was also, pay €1 to go use the John.
Sometimes you'll have to pay for using a public bathroom, so it's always best to carry some change on you, just in case. Germans like rules, and they like to follow the rules, and that includes stopping at a red pedestrian light. So, no jaywalking.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people do in the United States is they'll look both ways, even if there's a red pedestrian stop, and they'll go anyway because there's no cars coming in, nobody can see what, cop didn't see it, I didn't do it. But in Germany, people follow the rules, and I've heard that. Now, I never had that problem. I never encountered a German, stopping me from doing something like that. But I don't know if I encountered too many of those pedestrian stoplights where I was, and if I did, I think I followed them because I didn't know what the rules were. I figured best to be safe than sorry.
Germany, and by that I mean that you won't see a lot of Germans jaywalk, and many of them don't like it when others do it either, which by the way applies to other rules too. You may even get reminded by strangers to follow the rules. Besides the whole no jaywalking thing, some of these rules are to stay right on escalators to let people pass on the left, and, very, very important, don't walk or stand in bike lanes. Next to the sidewalk, there's usually a bike lane, and there are many, many cyclists in German cities. And if you block the bike lane, you may either cause an accident, or you'll probably have a person on.
Yeah, I know a lot of Germans like to use bikes, and they also like to do a lot of graffiti too.
On their bike, ring their bell at you, or even yell at you. In case you happen to turn on the TV or want to go see a movie in Germany, don't be surprised if your favorite American actor suddenly speaks German.
Yeah, look, I'm certainly not going to go see a movie in Germany, unless they said it's in English with German subtitles. In that case, that's fine. But yeah, the dubbing, look, they're in Germany. They're going to speak German. That makes sense. It's like if I'm in Japan, they're going to speak Japanese. Or Italy, they're going to speak Italian. It's nice that some people are bilingual and can speak both languages, but yeah.
Because almost everything is dubbed in Germany. We do consume a lot of American movies and shows in Germany, but Germans aren't big fans of subtitles. And even though more and more people do...
Americans aren't big fans of them either.
Do consume English media in their original version nowadays, the norm in Germany is the dubbed versions. Some movie theaters do show movies in the original versions too, though. You'll just have to look out for the little addition behind the title that says OV. Many of you have probably heard the cliche that Germans are pretty reserved and rather cold, and
I've heard that, but I don't. That was not my experience. The people of Germany were very friendly and very open, and maybe it was during the World Cup and they were expected to do that. I don't know, but I thought the German people were very, very friendly and very, very complimentary and very, very nice. I enjoyed being around them.
There's actually a lot of truth to that, so before you go to Germany, you should definitely know that Germans don't usually talk to strangers a lot, and we aren't big on small talk, so don't expect to have some nice conversations with people at the store or something. It depends on who you interact with, of course, but at first sight, Germans can come off as unfriendly, especially when compared to Americans. It's not
They weren't friendly to me, and so again, maybe it was because it was during the World
Nothing
Cup.
personal though, it's just a cultural difference. But if you ever have a concrete question, don't hesitate to approach a German and ask them, because Germans are usually very glad to help.
And again, a lot of the people in Germany spoke English. There was maybe one or two occasions where they didn't.
Now, how should I ask someone for advice if I don't speak German? Well, most Germans do know some English. They may have a thick accent and may not be able to have a full conversation, but they'll definitely be able to, give you.
I said this on one of my videos before. When we got to Germany, we needed to figure out how to get a ticket for the train. And there was a guy there, and he just, for thick German accent, he helped us out. We didn't even ask him. He just said, "Are you having difficulty?" and helped us out. So, very friendly people in Germany.
Directions or tell you the price of something. Many Germans also speak pretty good English, so those of you who come to Germany and do speak some German and want to use it, don't be thrown off if you speak to someone in German and they reply in English. It's a thing that many Germans
They probably would know that you're not a German speaker because of your accent. I imagine, look, we can tell British people or Australian people, Scottish people based on their accents, or get a pretty good idea who they are based on their accents. Same thing with, I imagine it works both ways with Germany. When I talk to my parents, I don't notice an accent, but certainly that's because we speak the way we speak. I mean, if you're watching me in Germany right now, you probably think I have an accent. Okay. I don't hear it, but you do. And so that's probably a big thing.
Germans do, and I know that it can come off as rude in a way, but they usually just want to make life easier for the two of you because they know that German is a difficult language, and if they think that their English is better than your German, they may think that they can make the conversation more efficient by switching to English. So please don't be offended by that. If you really, really want to practice your German, I'm sure you can just ask them to stick with German.
Yeah, this is a big thing, is the housing differences in Europe now I didn't experience a German house when I was over there, but there are videos that I've done about houses in Europe, which are probably the same. I don't want to say they're the exact same, but are similar. Not from the United States to Germany, but from like most of Europe. Probably have the same things.
The last point on my list is mainly targeted at people who want to move to Germany. Now, when you move into a new place, be prepared that it might come entirely empty. And by that I mean that there won't even be blinds, curtains, or light bulbs in it, and oftentimes not even a kitchen. So the space where the kitchen is supposed to be will just have a bunch of cables and pipes stick out of the wall, and you'll be responsible for getting all of the appliances and cabinets. Also, leases are usually unlimited in Germany, unless it's like a sublease or something. But in the US, I found that a lease usually has an end date, 1 year in a lot of cases, and then you can either renew it or end it. You won't have to do that in Germany. Also, when looking for a place, you should be aware that a bedroom can be really small in Germany, so you should always look at the size of the room or the apartment and not just the number of bedrooms, because a 3-bedroom apartment in Germany could be smaller than a 1-bedroom.
And this is similar to the hotels. Most of the hotels, like where I'm at right now, if you can see it, I've got a space over here. I've got a TV. There's like a living room, and the bedroom's back that way. There's a very spacious. When we got into the hotel Le Meridien in Frankfurt, it looked like basically 2 hallways, large hallways in the United States. One side, one bedroom, and then kind of living area and bathroom. It wasn't very big. It wasn't very spacious. But again, when you're in Germany, you do as the Germans do, okay, and that's how they do it. That's their culture, and I understand that. Okay, it was like this is kind of, but we adapted, enjoyed it very much.
Bedroom in the States. Also, bedrooms don't have closets in Germany, so you'll need a wardrobe or a dresser to put your clothes in. And there are many, many more differences regarding German and American houses. So if you're interested in that, you can just click here and check out my video about differences at home. So those were 13 things that I really think are important to know as someone going to Germany for the first time, especially the whole friendliness thing, because I know of several stories where an American thought the German cashier didn't like them because they didn't speak German, or where an old lady yelled at them for standing on the left side of the escalator, and they let that affect their experience in Germany, and I really don't want that to happen. If you have more tips, feel free to share them in the comments below, and of course subscribe to my channel for free and activate the little bell so that you'll get notified about new videos of me. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook, and you can support me on Patreon and buy me a coffee. Thanks.
Okay, this is Feli from Germany. Please click like, share, and subscribe for her, and like, share, and subscribe for me as well. But yeah, this was good stuff. I mean, this was stuff you need to know before going to Germany. I've been doing a lot of German videos. I've been doing a lot from Passport too, but this is a little bit of a different stroke. She lives in Cincinnati. She's come over to the United States from Germany versus somebody going from the United States to Germany and living there. So, but again, enjoyable video. Please click like, share, and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.